Welcome back to the FloGrappling Show, the worst show on the internet, the only show where if you break it, you buy it. I'm your host, as always, Trey Robinson. Over here, we got a mustache-stuffed Uncle Joey, and then over on the side desk, we got Slack Barrett on the ones and twos over there. But we are fresh off the road. We drove back last night from No-Gi Pans. It was a great tournament, you know, November 1st through 3rd. We were out there in Fort Worth, Texas. I'll kick it off by saying one thing we didn't know we were getting ourselves in for when we rolled up to Fort Worth. We were staying at the hotel that JFK stayed in the night before he was assassinated. So we just rock up to this hotel, and then all of a sudden there's these plaques in the bathrooms that just like disclose that this was the hotel JFK stayed in. What'd you guys think about that? That's kind of monumental.
At first, when I was reading the plaque, I thought I was like reading it wrong, or it was just like a general like Dallas kind of thing. It was like, no, it was like might be the room or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was wild. It was there's big monuments and stuff. They said we lost our American innocence there. American innocence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
What'd you think, Slade?
heavy.
I just thought it was kind of weird that the plaque was in the bathroom, to be honest.
It was weird. The plaque was in the bathroom. It
I was like,
weird.
you could really put this over the desk in the room. You know,
On
I
the
don't know why it's a
door, like
bathroom
when you
room.
walk in the lobby, just
Totally.
have a thing for everybody.
Totally.
Yeah. Essentially anywhere else. Like,
Anywhere but the bathroom.
There's not a lot of reasons that a plaque should be in a bathroom. Maybe if it's like an Elvis plaque, it might make sense to be in the bathroom. But outside of that, like, yeah, plaques really shouldn't be in bathrooms. Honestly,
Disrespect.
I'll go on the record and just say it. There's no reason that a plaque should be in a bathroom for any reason. It's not even out there. Not even the creator.
Not even Elvis.
Yeah, not even the creator of the urinal should have a plaque in a bathroom. Like, at least put that thing in a freaking living room or something. But yeah, it was cool staying in that hotel. Nothing special about the hotel outside of that, to be honest with you. Just a one plaque, and then there's a monument of JFK outside. So that was cool. But we were just one block away from the Fort Worth Convention Center where it was all going down. Just a sick tournament overall. Just to like get into like, you know, recapping all of that, I think we got to start with talking about Devonte Johnson.
For sure.
Devonte came out, won the open class for the men's black belt division. Obviously, I think that was his plan all along. You know, we kind of talked to him early on. He was like, yeah, my main goal is coming here, capturing the No-Gi Pans absolute title. I think he has a few No-Gi Pans titles for the division already, but he wanted that absolute. But I think he looked great along the way. Ended up getting a submission in the finals against Alejandro Mariano, who also looked very good. But super cool to see someone go out there and not just win the open class, to win it by submission. I feel like that's a special thing.
100%. There was a long time where I felt like a lot of open classes ended up being closeouts. I think this was a closeout last year. To see two guys going out there ready to throw down, ready to go after each other was really, really cool. And I thought Devonte looked great. He was on a mission all weekend. He's been away a little bit throughout the year, welcoming his first child. Congratulations, Devonte. And then follows it up with an amazing result here. Devonte is the truth. Devonte looked awesome. He looked strong. He looked fast. His jiu-jitsu was very fluid. Professor Murillo in the corner, giving a lot of the advice, the deepest voice advice you've literally ever heard in your life. Man, Devonte looked like a total killer out there. Awesome stuff.
For sure, man. So we kind of, you know, stealing off the Flow Instagram here. You guys can kind of watch through this final match, watch the submission here.
He's so big. He's so strong.
Yeah, Devontae's a big, strong boy for sure.
I fought him back at medium heavyweight, and I don't think he's making medium heavyweight again anytime soon.
Yeah, definitely not.
Super strong guy. Even back then, he was super strong. I can't imagine now. And just, the idea he would get around your neck and start squeezing feels like he would pop your head off or something.
Yeah.
I remember Murillo yelled right as soon as he passed into side control. He yelled, "All of your strength now," and then you just saw him bolt down. And
all
it was
of
like,
your power.
Yeah.
No, there
Brutal.
was a moment. I think it was in the semifinal. I can't remember who he had in the semifinal. Did he have that Marcus?
Igor Schneider, maybe.
I don't remember. I don't remember it being Igor Schneider. I thought it was like Marcus Carrasino or something in the semis.
Could have been.
For the open class, but I'm not sure. Whoever he had in the semis, though, it was kind of coming down to like the last minute on the feet, and Devonte just needed to, you know, maintain a lead and sail off into the finals. And Murillo was like, 1 minute, Devonte. All of your power now. So he was given
That's
your
the
power.
line, all of your power. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a great
Your
line.
power.
I need to remember that.
That's a big Murillo.
Yeah.
You'll hear that a lot. I remember we've talked about Devonte before on this podcast about like I'm keeping that moment. He almost had one of those this weekend too, where it was that there was a match that he had that was coming right down to the wire. That was his closest match of the weekend. And the last like 15 seconds, they go out of bounds, and you see Devonte just second effort get back around the guy, get to a rear body lock, showing the refs, I am working hard to try to get something. And paid off. He ended up winning that match.
He didn't get to keep it, though.
Didn't get to keep it. IBJJF rules, they bring you back. They
reset neutral. But
Devonte
was, he talked about in an interview kind of after his semifinals before day 2, where he was like, I've really, for one, he's a little disappointed. I think he wanted to come out and dominate his way to a win. Obviously, getting a submission in the finals kind of does put a little bow on your performance. But he was talking a lot about wanting to not wrestle at the edge as much, because Devonte is a guy who does wrestle at the edge of the boundaries, I feel like, a lot, and I feel like that's why he does create these moments where we see him go off the mat in crazy situations where obviously IBJJF you just reset neutral, but ADCC you get the I'm keeping that type of stuff. But so I don't know if it played out like he wanted to, because I was like, Devonte, I know you're trying that, but I keep seeing you going off the mat. He's like, yeah, I know, this is freaking bullshit. I'm trying my best to not wrestle off the mat, but it's just some guys are gonna work that boundary and wrestle outside of it. Like Rene Souza, another dude I feel like is always wrestling outside of the bounds of play there. But so sick to see Devonte get Nogi Pan's absolute gold. I know he wanted that one bad. And then another absolute champ from the weekend is going to be Liz Clay. Liz Clay just dominates Nogi Pans. Liz Clay has won this tournament so many times. I'm pretty sure she's probably won it at every belt, if I had to guess.
Yeah,
and how many times she won at black belt? 6 times?
She is now a 6-time Nogi Pan champion. I believe all 3 of those were double gold performances, which is crazy. That's absolutely mind-blowing. I don't know if she's ever lost a black belt match at this tournament.
Yeah.
I don't know if she's ever lost a match at this tournament, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, I don't know either. I just know Liz Clay dominates Nogi Pans. This time coming in, like you can see here on this clip, that she's obviously coming into this tournament 2 months after having a child, which just kind of doesn't even seem fathomable, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, pretty crazy stuff. But she ended up, did she go all subs? I know she had a lot of subs.
She didn't submit Maria Rafato the first final. So she ended up fighting Maria Rafato twice. The heavyweight final, she won by points, and then ended up finishing her off. Maria came out, I think, a little bit more aggressive in the second match, understanding that she needed to change something about the equation to get over the hump. And when you open up, you open up. And Liz Clay took advantage. She's one of the best in the world. She's honestly one of the best female grapplers of all time, if we're being perfectly honest. Especially Nogi. She is a killer with the leg locks, maybe the best women's leg locker of all time. And she's back less than 2 months after having her first child. It is so impressive to be able to do that. It is kind of unheard of, to be perfectly honest, in jiu-jitsu. I can't think of another comparable example in a fight sport to be back this quickly and be dominating. She's a different breed.
For sure. Devonte also a recently
new parent, right? Yeah.
New parent, yeah. You were asking him about that in the post matches? What did they have to say about?
I did. So when I asked Devonte about it, I was like, oh, 2 new parents, because he was the second final. 2 new parents won the open class. What do you think that signals? And he's like, hey, man, got to provide. Got to come out here, got to win, because I'm looking to get super fight opportunities on Who's Number One, on UFC Fight Pass, on these different organizations where I can, get my name out there and make a little bit of money. It makes a lot of sense. He was super highly motivated. Liz, super highly motivated to come back out here and prove that she's still one of the best. Having missed ADCC, you have to believe that she, probably was sitting on the sidelines wishing she could participate somehow. But she's back. She's back like she never left.
Yeah, another kind of cool aspect of the final, I thought, was basically the team trophy came down to the absolute men's final. For the adult male trophy, team trophy. And basically it was Devonte versus Alejandro Mariano. If Devonte wins, then Pedigo wins the team title. If Alejandro wins, then I believe Atos, would bump up to first place. And so you had all of the Daisy Fresh crew just in the crowds, leaning over the barricades, cheering for Devonte. It was kind of like a little PSF Unity collab, which is kind of like a pretty sick collab, if I'm being honest. There's something about those teams that just kind of it does kind of fit that you guys are linked up. But then, so you had PSF going crazy for Devonte that entire final, kind of adopted him as an honorary member of the PSF crew for that one. And eventually Pedigo ended up punching their ticket to the number 1 spot as a team, which, I mean, we called him the favorite, baby.
The favorite.
Little prediction there.
True.
Easy money.
Went chalk on him. Pedigo had an awesome tournament, and it was really cool watching them all take the mats and celebrate and have that moment together. And, man, they earned it the hard way. There was a lot of tough matches. They had guys go down. They had guys have to come back in the absolute. and double medal. They looked awesome all tournament, and the tournament was like kind of quiet. Nogi Pans is maybe like the most boisterous tournament compared to some of these others, like an ADCC Trials or something. But you always knew when a Pedigo guy was going. They were the team that was getting loud for everybody.
Yeah, for sure. So there's obviously a lot of black belts to still cover, but since we're talking PSF, let's jump to that. I think, Slack, you have that the footage of Little Jacob. Little Jacob's scariest grappler in the world today, if I'm being honest with you.
He's like a little pixely. It's
Yeah.
scary. But not little. Also, we got to talk about this at some point.
Yeah, I think he was, what was he fighting, medium heavy?
Medium heavy, and he is every bit of it's like 188.5 something in there. And he's just an absolute tank at this point. Shoulders are huge, legs are big back.
So this is his final in the purple belt medium heavy division. And this is one thing he does. Like, he gets double unders and just like deadlifts dudes up and stacks them so hard.
Attacking the back, rolling.
Yeah, he is an aggressive, mean grappler, to be honest with you, but very exciting to watch. Like, I would argue that if you went through and watched every person who competed at Nogi Pans, Little Jacob might have pound for pound the most exciting matches all the way through. Achilles Rocha is also up there, but definitely Little Jacob just brings a tenacity and just a nonstop pace. Look at this. He puts dudes back on their feet. Like
to jump on the backpack.
It's kind of crazy. Like, I feel like maybe he should take a little off of it so he doesn't just put dudes on their feet. But then again,
what you can't hear here
working.
too is to Joe's point, the PSF crew is just going off.
Yeah. Yeah, nobody kind of shows out for each other like the PSF guys, to be honest.
And there's only a couple seconds left, and look at how geared up he is. He's like ready to just keep pushing.
Here comes some fun stuff. I feel like at this point, the other guy is like kind of accepting what's happening, and Little Jacob has not agreed to that.
Here comes. Scoop.
Boom. Just a huge throw, dude.
To end on that.
Nogi Pan champ Jacob Borneman.
What's he saying here, Slack?
He's basically saying, I asked him, I said, did that guy steal your lunch money or something? And he said, this is what I do for a living, and he's here to take my job.
PSF for life.
Right. PSF for life, yeah.
Yeah.
He just said he's been working so hard for this. He deserves it. He earned it. And
that's facts.
He went out there and took it for sure.
Yeah, Little Jacob is a G for sure, dude. This is like, so I'm a purple belt who's around the heavyweight category. And
around.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I weigh like 215, so
yeah,
that is for sure around. 208 is the cap, but well, I don't know what you're trying to imply. You think I'm getting chunky?
I'm not
What's that around, huh?
I'm not implying anything.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm about to get shredded to freaking show out on Joe here. But
that'd be amazing.
The thought of having to fight all these freaking Pedigo purple belts, dude. I mean, there's a lot outside of just Pedigo purple belts. There's a lot of really good purple belts out there. Like Enrico Said, actually, a Wagner Rocha Fight Sports purple belt in the heavyweight category. He got double gold, actually. So he was the guy who brought home purple belt double gold. Enrico Said, definitely a beast. You know, check him out if you guys haven't already. He's got a lot of really good trials performances and IBJJF performances. But like the thought of going like, okay, bump up like heavyweight. All right, sick. I'll fight Enrico Said or one of these guys, or go down to medium heavy, fight Little Jacob. Like, want nothing to do with that. Oh, bump up to super heavy, fight Michael Pixley, dude. It's like, god damn. Like these
could just go ultra heavy and fight Brandon Reed.
Yeah, I mean these purple belt heavyweight categories are nuts right now, dude. Get me out of here. I want my blue belt back. Like I'm freaking gonna go demote myself. But so. Super sick stuff all around there, though. What else should we talk about? We got...
Achilles had a great run in brown belt, moving up to brown belts.
Let's do it.
Uh-oh. Yeah. Achilles, the brown belt double gold champion, so he won the heavyweight division at brown belt and then also the open class. Achilles has a style that is pretty insane to watch. So obviously you're seeing him just like dump everybody on their head. This is from an Achilles Rocha All Access we did. If you guys want to check that out, it kind of dives into the full run Achilles had at the Nogi Pan Championship. But Achilles lets himself get into so much danger, like positions where it's like, oh my God, not only is Achilles going to have to tap to this, but it's going to destroy his leg. Like he loves letting himself get in so deep in leg entanglements, but he kind of just always finds a way back out. It's pretty nuts to watch, to be honest. What we jump into here is quarterfinal. You didn't want to see the first throw?
I maybe went too far. Sorry about that.
That's all right. That's all right. No, we can just watch this one.
Achilles, I thought he showed some incredible wrestling. He looks strong as an ox all day. His scrambles are incredible. Like you said, he's just kind of letting these guys into like deep, dangerous leg entanglements. But he feels as comfortable as anybody in any of these, and it's pretty crazy. He's really well coached by his dad, and he ended up having an awesome run. I think 6 submissions at 8 wins.
Yes.
Just an absolutely crazy run. This
Yeah,
is
but
a
look at
nuts
how
angle.
he lets people attack him like this. It's so stressful to watch.
Yeah, it's definitely nuts. He talked about it, and he was like, basically he was saying, like, I train with Cade and Anastasios, who's like one of the best leg lockers in the world, and he was like, if Cade gets on your legs, it just breaks. He was like, so it's like, it's different. I know exactly when someone's going to break my leg, when they're not, because of training with him. And there are times when I'm like,
his foot is bent backwards.
I mean, that is nuts. You can just see the torque in his knee right there. I don't understand how his leg doesn't break right there, if I'm being honest with you. He kind of has a different ligaments than I got.
Maybe it's one of those like been
Less
training
of them.
since he was a child things. Where
Yeah,
it
for
just
sure.
over
Has the
time
little kid
develops,
flexibility.
like incredible flexibility. And
Yeah, there's one thing whenever you watch Achilles, you can just tell that he doesn't just have dexterity in his like limbs, like in his legs and stuff. He has like crazy dexterity in his trunk. Like he can move his torso and his body in just crazy ways that like a normal person can't really do. I was talking to Troy Mercer. Troy Mercer fought him in the absolute, and Troy definitely brought it. Like Troy's a guy who will go out there and like scrap it out with the best of them, you know, and make fights exciting. So it ended up being a pretty cool one. But there were some moments in the Troy Mercer match where Achilles was just twisting around in such wild ways that it was like, oh, Troy's kind of got him here. And then Achilles would just like throw his legs over and around and be half on the back, half in like a headlock position. And Troy was like, yeah, I don't know what was really going on, if I'm being honest with you. His body moves like no one else I've ever grappled with. But it's just very apparent when you watch him that that's going on.
100%, and he's still powerful through a lot of those positions too, because Troy's a really strong guy, and he was able to stay muscle to muscle with him in a lot of those.
Jump into more of the absolute stuff, Slack.
I thought this was the tournament where I felt like Achilles finally started acting like his dad and his sister a little bit more.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Definitely. Go back to that Nadia Franklin match you were at. So this was potentially, I feel like, the biggest match that Achilles could have at brown belt, especially once we saw who all was in for the open class and everything. Nadia Franklin is an absolute beast, Atos kid. He used to train at Almeida in Sao Paulo with Bia Basilio and that crew. But this was the first time we did, like Joe was saying, we saw Achilles kind of playing a little bit of the mind games, a little bit getting under his skin there. Obviously, Nata kind of got hurt on a takedown, and then Achilles, you know, calling for the photo with his hands raised. I think that did not sit well with Nata. He did not like that. So these guys kind of end up with a little bit of beef. But
and then I think this isn't going to help. He's doing the
yawning at him
at the corner, saying he's got nothing. And Achilles was just in trouble time after time after time. Nata, who had won the super heavy, came and really brought it. We could very easily end up seeing this again at Nogi Worlds. Both these guys are going to be in, and Nata is definitely motivated to bring it after this matchup.
Yeah, I think he certainly wants this one back. They were kind of jawing at each other after the match as well. Look at this headstand by Achilles here. There's a little flavor on it.
He was trying to put on a show.
Always
I think
a showman, like his dad.
The ADCC experience was great for him. It put him on one of those big stages, and I think he developed a taste for that, and he's going to continue acting like it. Him and, Nata are definitely two guys that I would keep a close eye on at Nogi Worlds. Those are guys that could compete really well at black belt already. They're going to, probably have to knock each other off at Nogi Worlds one way or the other.
Yeah, those dudes are probably going to end up fighting like a million times before it's all said and done. Like eventually they'll get their black belts and just like keep clashing in probably sick matches. But if you want to check out, that whole Achilles run, hear from him throughout it, hear from his dad. We have that on our YouTube channel, so go check that out. The Achilles Rocha All Access. Definitely some cool stuff there. But let's jump back into the black belt categories. Talk a little bit about some of these black belts and one specific black belt who was able to capture his first major as a black belt, Cole Abate. So it was obvious that this one meant a lot to Cole. I felt like you could kind of tell that it's like he wanted to make a comeback after having some injury issues, not being able to compete on some things like he wanted to come back and kind of capture a major in his rookie year at black belt. But this is his final against Julian Espinoza. Julian, also a really tough guy. I don't know if we've actually announced it yet, but Julian's going to be competing on the WNO 25 undercard, so that he'll be a sick grappler to watch. But Yeah, super sick run from Cole Abate all the way through.
100%. Had to start out his day against Gianni Grippo, who's, world-ranked featherweight, world-ranked lightweight, been around the game for a long time, really tough guy. And he looked awesome in that match, ended up winning on points, I think.
Against Gianni?
Against Gianni.
Yeah, he swept him early, got the 2, and then was just able to maintain position and stuff, won by 2 points.
And then kept that run going, ended up here in the finals against Julian, who has been on a real tear, winning a ton of IBJJF events, medaling at a ton of IBJJF events. But Cole wouldn't be denied. He returned to Texas, his native Texan, and got it done here by submission in the finals.
Yeah, super sick watching him. He submitted Ismael Santos also. Did you mention that?
No, he did. In the semifinal, he tapped out Ismael Santos, who's a very tough guy.
For sure. So good run by Cole. Great seeing him, kind of capture this major.
The first major, right? That's really the headline here is this is likely the start of what's to come. Cole is, he is a guy with a lot of big goals, and it all starts with one initial championship. The injury that he had, I was talking to him after, we were interviewing him after a little bit slack, and he was talking about the injuries that he has had were potentially career altering.
Yeah.
And so for him to be able to come back, not just come back period, but come back in this year is really a testament to how seriously he took it all and how hard he rehabbed and how much he was working to be able to come back and get back out there. And this result has to feel really gratifying after a pretty difficult road.
Yeah, and he also talked about just, a great story has adversity, and for him, that's coming back from, such a big injury. And he said he doesn't want to be some perfect athlete that never makes a single mistake, never has, a challenge to overcome. So he did successfully overcome that. And, talking to Guy, he also just mentioned that this is really, there was a start and stop at Worlds this year, Guy Worlds for him, but Guy framed it as this is the first one that they actually were able to have a healthy full camp for. And that's, what really motivated them to come out. It's this is your chance to really set this on the right foot for the year is full camp, healthy, come out here, take the title home. So,
yeah, great showing from Cole Abate. Obviously excited to watch him, hopefully at Nogi Worlds. I think that'd be sick to watch him there, but on some super fight shows and stuff as well. It's always fun to watch Cole Abate, something you always got to tune in for. Another, to keep moving, to talk through more of these black belts, we got to talk about the OG, Rafael Lovato Jr. This is, you kind of dug up this stat. This is him capturing his 7th of 8 IBJJF majors, just one IBJJF major at adult left for Lovato to capture, to have every single IBJJF major, potentially the first guy ever to do that.
Which would make him the first guy to ever do that. No one has ever won all 8, which is Worlds, Pans, Brasileiros, and Euros in gi and no gi. Rafael was obviously the first guy to ever do that in the same year, accomplishing the Grand Slam in the gi. And for him to be able to potentially do that no gi would be incredible. It would be one more feather in the cap, one more chapter to an already incredible career that he's had. He had, I think, all subs. He had an awesome run. We actually saw him hit his first ever heel hook, which is pretty cool.
It is crazy.
It was really fun seeing Rafael out there, right? We don't always get a chance to see some of these OG guys out there doing every single tournament, and he put it on the line. It was awesome to see.
Yeah, what did he have? He had 4 matches total. This is, 5.
This is his first match.
Right. This is his first match, and then
he had 2 more the next day, and then he closed out in the final. So he had 3 matches where he took the mat.
Gotcha.
And he was scrapping with this guy, and he was telling us, he was here to take on the young kids and scrap, and this guy was throwing some really heavy collar ties on that you can kind of see earlier in the match and getting him a little heated up. You heard Shanji in the corner saying, it's okay, just a little roughhouse, just a little roughhouse.
Yeah. What was the line Shanji said about Eddie Murphy?
Oh, so he was calling for a John Wayne sweep, but instead of saying John Wayne, he said Eddie Murphy. And Victor sort of looked at him like, what are you talking about? And he looked over at Victor and he was like, Eddie Murphy, you know the song John Wayne? Eddie Murphy. And I didn't know what he was talking about, so I had to look it up. And there's just some 1990s, esoteric to me, but some dance song where this guy is just saying names of celebrities for the entire time. And the first 2 is John Wayne, Eddie Murphy. And he was saying this to Victor, and Victor was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. But I brought it up to him yesterday, and I told him, I said, I had to look it up now I at least am the one person in that match who understood your reference.
Yeah.
He kind of enjoyed that I figured it out, but it took a little research.
Did Lovato have any idea? Did John Wayne?
I don't know. I don't even know if Lovato could hear it. You know,
Yeah.
it's kind of like just to the team type of thing. But
Some wild coaching going on by Shanji.
he looked
also
like he
shouting
was just-
Darslan.
Darslan, yeah. But it was cool to see them there, like just kind of enjoying themselves. Like this is just kind of for the love of the game, really, you know?
Yeah, for sure. But Lovato looked really good. Obviously, you know, I mean, he's just as motivated as ever. It's like, I don't know if Lovato will ever retire from competing at these events, to be
I
honest.
think he's
about, like,
following
being,
the footsteps of Megaton, you know?
Definitely.
He'll be out there
Honestly,
forever.
straight up, yeah. And he talks about wanting to be like a 40-time Masters World Champion or something. Like,
Jesus.
you know, he's in this, man. He's about this. He was born into this, and he's gonna live in this. And you know, always cool to see him out there, especially when he's evolving his game. You know, always giving back, teaching the next generation, guys like Victor Hugo, guys like Larangina, Rafael, an American Jiu-Jitsu icon.
Yeah, definitely. It would be pretty nuts if he ends up capturing all 8 IBJJF majors, not just like because the feat itself is pretty insane, but to do it as an American as well is like that's
crazy.
pretty wild. Yeah, like it's I don't know. There's the list of Americans who have won a lot of these major events and everything is still pretty short, to be honest with you. But to capture all 8, it's like wow, what a G, dude, holding it down. But Lovato looked good. Go to the Instagram real quick and pull up his heel hook finish, just because that's pretty nuts to see Rafael Lovato finish a heel hook.
I asked him about this, and the interviews are going up on the site. You guys can check those out. But he talked about
This
how
one.
Oh, it's the mounted triangle, sorry.
Yeah, it could go up.
Shouts out for the
Final.
mounted triangle, though.
Yeah.
I thought the mounted triangle was right before the
the
final.
mounted triangle was the semifinal. The quarterfinal
Right
was
there.
the heel
Top
hook.
left. Or no, that's Junie. I thought it was the white.
I think it's before the triangle, right?
It was his first match of the day. Was the
Right.
heel hook?
Are you sure? I thought it.
Well, because
How
the
did-
final was
Oh,
a
yeah,
closeout,
yeah,
and
I'm
then
tripping.
the
I'm
semifinal was
tripping.
with Tanaka.
My bad.
I'm trying to find it. Let's see. Actually, it might
And,
not
you
be.
know, I asked him about this, and he was talking about how he was training
I
all
don't
these
think we
heel
have that
hooks,
one
and
up.
guys like Troy Russell were, you know, being super helpful with all this stuff. And he felt like, okay, as long as the guy isn't literally like Craig Jones or somebody, like I might have a real advantage here. And that is the first ever heel hook victory for Rafael Lovato Jr., at least at black belt. I'm going to guess ever. You know, he had been finished twice before in his career with a heel hook, which is also still kind of a crazy low number because that guy does compete. Lost to Craig, lost to Husamir way back in the day in 2011. And so, man, he's continuing to evolve, which is scary news for all these super heavyweight guys.
Yeah, I think this is him versus Marlon Tanaka. I don't think he finishes this one by heel hook, but dang it, dude.
This one?
Is it?
Oh yeah, this
There we
is
go.
Here we go. Some leg lock action from Rafael Lovato Jr. Shout out the IBJJF Instagram account. If you guys aren't or if you aren't following that, I don't know what the heck you're doing, but go follow that right now. They're obviously doing a great job over there with their content as well. John and those guys holding it down, making some
Shouts out to
sick
the
stuff.
crew. Shouts out to Louise,
So-
everybody over there.
Yep. Good solid crew pumping out the content, but
Big time. And Rafael does have a good frame for leg locking. He's so long, right? And he has the big hands, good grips, that for him to be a solid leg locker only makes a lot of sense.
yeah.
Oh,
What a beast, dude. Lovato's still doing it, still holding it down. But who else should we talk about? Max Hansen? Max Hansen had
Hansen, that was crazy.
Yep, Max Hansen had a sick one. Ended up rematching against Carlos Henrique in the final. That one was, like, honestly, it was just a very good strategic job by Max. He knew Carlos was going to come out and try to pull, and he was just making sure that Carlos could not establish connection on the pull. So he was able to get 2 off of penalties, kind of off the rip, and then just kind of played his game, didn't let Carlos get anything going on, ended up getting the win there. You can tell how much these wins mean to Max Hansen. I don't know if he's an emotional guy, but he expresses how much it means to him on the mat and stuff. So you could tell this was huge. I know definitely as well contributing to the Pedigo teams race probably meant a lot to him, but super happy for Max. That's pretty cool to see him get it done. But I do think this Carlos Henrique, Max Hansen budding rivalry is something we're probably going to see more and more. I think these guys definitely still want more of each other, to be honest. Probably going to see them clash again at Nogi Worlds would be my guess.
100%. These are 2 of the best IBJJF Nogi lightweights in the world. I thought Max getting over that hump winning his first ever major was incredible. The crowd was going nuts for him. The Pedigo guys needed him to win, and he came up big. And I think this is really a testament to Max's experience. He had, I think he said, over 100 matches last year and like 80 matches so far this year, which is absolutely insane for any of these guys. He's one of the most active guys out there. And so it's tough to strategize him. It's tough to put him in positions or situations that he hasn't been in at this point. And I think him and Carlos is a great rivalry, that Carlos won the Worlds matchup last year. Now the Pans final goes to Max. Round 3, anybody's game.
Certainly. Who else are we missing? It's
Junie, two-timer now at Nogi Pans. Junie Ocasio, always super fun to watch. He actually had like some real like scraps. He was talking about how he felt like his performance was sloppy. But to me, sloppy just translated into like exciting matches that even very late were within the margins and both guys having to work a lot. So it was a lot of fun to watch Junie for sure.
Yeah, honestly, sometimes sloppy matches are the move, if I'm being honest with you. Like, just, obviously I feel an athlete would deem it sloppy because there's like, more room than they would like, more movement, more back and forth. But that's what I like to see, Shout out, I guess, Cade versus Andrew. Like, that's kind of a sloppy match, but it's like
elements to it.
Yeah, but it's like just certainly incredibly cool because of that. Another shout out, Nadia Franklin. Nadia Franklin ended up capturing Nogi Pan's gold, so it was really cool to see Nadia get that gold at black belt. Obviously she's was the returning or the previous brown belt
double gold at Worlds.
Yeah, Worlds. So then obviously got her black belt, and now at Nogi Pans captured her first black belt Nogi Pans gold. I'm sure she's going to be coming for Nogi Worlds gold as well.
Double gold, she says. She wants the double gold at Worlds. Big time. And she did take absolute bronze here, so she's like in the mix for that. She had a great tournament.
Lost to Maria Rafato, who obviously is a beast as well. Maria Rafato, another great showing from her, but just ran into Liz Clay twice in both finals. So Amanda Levy ended up.
Amanda Levy. Can I talk about the Maria Rafato Gilpin? She is married to Charlie Gilpin. To put a bow on this, because I did get asked about this at Nogi Pans by a couple of people, like David Garmo asked me about this. So I do think me and this Charlie Gilpin guy are cousins. We messaged back and forth, and I was like, oh, my family's from the Denver area, and his family's from the Denver area. So like we just kind of left it as like and I was like trying to name family members that we both might know, and they weren't really like clicking. I was like, oh well, my dad, I haven't really seen him in like 20 years. His name was Charles. He goes by Chuck. Charlie messaged back, oh, it's crazy. My dad's name is Charles, and he goes by Chuck. This is the match. This is him and Renee Souza had an awesome scrap, it turned out. And so messaged a little bit more. Turns out we are not brothers, because I did think there was a chance for a second that we were going to end up being half brothers. Crisis averted. Crazy coincidence. Charlie Gilpin had an awesome scrap with Renee Souza. If you guys want to go and check that one, that was a lot of fun. Renee almost had to pay out $50 because he told me in an interview the day before, I'm not going to buggy choke anybody. If I buggy choke anybody, I'll give you $50, which I didn't know if that meant me $50 or the person he buggy choked $50, but I was going to cash in it regardless.
Yeah.
And he got in such a scrap that he almost had to pull that bad boy out.
Shout out to Renee, though. He always shows up super game. And he 100%. Was just competing at AIGA a couple weekends ago, and he just always comes back fresh, excited, positive energy, trying to go out there and win. And one of the funny things, too, about watching them compete is they really don't seem to know the rules at all. So they're really just kind of going out there, submission-only type guys, trying to submit very points savvy people, in a points game, and it's always fun to watch them go kind of put it on the line.
The not knowing the rules thing, I gotta say, I don't support.
It's kind of funny, right? Strategy wise,
I get that it's funny, and I get it's like a cool thing to say, to be like, I don't even know the rules, dude. I'm just out here to submit people. But it's like, I maybe know the rules. I don't learn them. I don't know. But that's also like, I feel like a very 10th planet thing to say that.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that these guys don't know the rules also. That's another thing. Like,
maybe they just don't like the rules.
Come on, you know the rules.
Boogie and Gio know the rules.
It's like
Boogie and Gio know the rules.
It's like anti-establishment a little bit, a little anti the man. Like, I don't even know the rules. I'm just here to submit. It's like, first of all, I bet you do know the rules, and second of all, I think you should know the rules. Like,
and that's not bad that you know the rules.
Yeah,
that's not a dirty
it's a good thing. So I guess, PSA to anybody out there, it's okay to know the rules. You don't have to not know the rules. You can know the rules. It's cool. But if you don't want to, doesn't matter as well. But
Hey, shout out to Amanda Levy and her torn ACL that she is still competing on. We had heard like some rumors before ADCC
trials, right?
From ADCC trials that like
Wow.
leading up to ADCC is like, hey, Amanda actually only has like one functional leg at this point, or like one functional knee, and she's just gonna try to power through. I thought she was just kind of showing up at ADCC. We'll see what happens. Whatever. She had a crazy hard match with I think Anna Carolina. And then shows right back up at Nogi Pans and takes gold here. And, you know, she's just got such a like tough, hard-nosed, no excuses mindset that she continues to march forward and get it done. And she's able to capture gold. Shout out to Amanda. That was an awesome performance on only one ACL.
And all the mummified knees out there.
Yeah, if we could talk about.
Shout out to Francisco Lowe. Honorable mention, who just always game, putting on crazy matches, but man, just seems to be struggling through some knee injuries.
Sacrifices his knees.
Yeah. So Francisco ended up making the finals, had to fight his teammate, Jose Jarima, another Czech athlete, super dope dude, fun to watch, and ended up kind of heel hooking him. It was more like just Jose ended up just kind of falling in onto the leg, and Francisco was like, all right, just it's got to end. But yeah, no, dude, the medic straight up ran out of tape at this event, taping up Francisco Lowe's knees. That's not true, but it's a funny thing to say, in my opinion.
And it was like getting close to where it was like, yeah, man, how are you even walking?
He had ankles taped, knees taped. It's like, whew, Francisco Lowe I love watching Francisco Lowe compete. I think he's one of the most dynamic, most exciting grapplers to watch today. But it's like, at this point, like maybe should take a little time off and let his injuries heal up some and like come back like on like, after a little bit of a break to kind of come back full force and just start dominating with repaired knees, to be honest with you.
Or at least come to Austin and go to Ways to Well or something.
Yeah, you got to go to Ways to Well, baby. Uh-oh.
He just had such a good performance at AIGA that I feel like there was a lot of good feeling that he was going to be able to come in here and do his thing. And he did have a great run all the way to the finals, but you just saw match after match. His stuff was getting popped. He was getting stuck in really deep leg entanglements. Yeah. And by the time he got to the finals, like, we weren't even sure he was going to be able to do it. By the time he gets out there, he's able to like put together 2 or 3 minutes of the match. But Jarema, to his credit, looked awesome all tournament. Took out some of the toughest guys in the bracket. Lucas Lira, who we're all very high on, beat him. And then the 1C, Gabriel Broge, who is a super tough, one of the toughest Brazilian new black belts out there. And he had an awesome run to the finals. I think that he kind of stamped himself as somebody to watch going into Worlds, and had a really exciting run on top of that. Not just a good run, but an exciting run, which I appreciated.
For sure. What are you showing here, Slack? What we got? Is this Mayara?
Final with Mayara was a really great match. Really tough back and forth. She was in some really difficult positions. And then she just kind of rallied and just put up a big fight at the end and caught the guillotine. It was one of the crazier kind of comebacks in the whole finals that day.
Yeah, it's always cool seeing someone get a submission in the finals. You know, it's just kind of...
Especially when you're down. Because, see, this position that she just rolls out of, she was in a crucifix for a little while. It's like she was in a lot of danger. She was getting stuck. Paige was doing a great job playing that game. And it's always, shouts out to Paige, but it is also fun to see somebody get out of a bad situation and 100%. Come right back for the kill, because that's what we all want when we're training and when we're competing. In those bad situations. If I could just get out of here and get the sub, that is like the most glorious way to come back. And she did. Beautiful execution on the scramble, backs out, jumps on the guillotine.
Yeah, it's kind of that,
she
like,
cinched it right up.
That innate feeling of like, oh, dude, as soon as I get out of here, you might be smashing me now, bro, whooping my ass, but as soon as I get out of here, your ass is grass.
And again, to Paige's credit, she looked great that whole match, and I know that she'll be back to keep pushing.
100%. Mayara showed a really good skill for kind of pulling out some of those crazy submissions all weekend. She had that rolling knee bar on day one. If you guys go and check the highlights that we put on the site of the like open class submissions. The one at the very end of the video is this great rolling knee bar that she hit on Brittany Johnson of Atos. And she had an awesome tournament. I didn't really know Mayara Moreira coming into this weekend. And after this, I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye out.
Yo, Nikki, zoom in on me real quick, bro. I'm looking big body right now, dude. Maybe I am super heavy after all. Maybe,
strong boy.
Maybe Joe was onto something, huh?
Strong boy. Look at them forearms.
Woo! I do have
You've been on the buy work too.
Yep, and soon enough, I'm going to go get tatted up on this sleeve over here. I have this theory that if I get both sleeves done, I'm going to be too powerful. It'll be over with for everybody in the content game and the freaking jiu-jitsu game, dude. It's over with. or grow too strong with 2 sleeves. But so there's obviously back to this stuff. There was obviously a lot of stuff that went down at No Gi Pans. I mean, genuinely, like, I think we all are pretty tired right now. It was like, a hard weekend, just 3 of us freaking holding it down, trying to cover as much as we can. Obviously, we miss stuff, and we try not to. We try to cover as much as we can, but stuff does slip through the cracks, and it's also still processing all of it. So sorry if we didn't talk about you and you had a great performance, and we should have. Hopefully we'll be getting some content out, helping cover more of all the stuff that went down at No Gi Pans. And then we're right into the next. It's kind of things are back kicking up. This was kind of the re-kick up. Aiga, I guess, was kind of the start of the kick up of a lot of good jiu-jitsu events. So
who we should shout out before we finish up anything is Alejandro Mariano.
Yeah.
Obviously had a really, really good tournament. Gold medal at medium heavyweight, beating in a tough bracket with guys like John Blanc, Jacob Couch, Sebastian Rodriguez, IBJJF No-Gi World Champion. He's the guy who comes out and gets it done, and that's after an absolute run where he goes all the way to the finals. He was the guy who fought Devonte, and we would be remiss if we didn't sit here and shout out this guy who had a bunch of great wins over a very tough weekend.
For sure, yeah. So great job by Alejandro Mariano. Me and Slack are flying out to Southern California tomorrow. We're going out to link up with Atos, AOJ, a lot of the spots out there. We're going to start doing some lead up content for the Crown. That's the next one you guys can expect. The Crown's going down November 17th. So stay tuned for all of that stuff. We'll be dropping some all accesses, some more Fix My Games, all the good stuff that you guys know and love from FloGrappling. But as always, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you like and subscribe on the YouTube channel. Go to FloGrappling.com to check out more of the coverage for all your favorite jiu-jitsu events. And we'll see you guys in the next one.